next up, another identifying factor of the gurus, and this really hit home the last couple weeks of reading into the gurus and different ones, because I don't think in the last few weeks, except for some of the weird, more esoteric, like Order of Solar Temple, I don't think they teach this, but pretty much everybody else kind of has this monist view, right? All is one. This seems to be the underlying factor of most of the gurus. Now, every now and then they'll throw in some word salad because they all contradict one another, right? About duality, right? So sometimes they'll talk about that. Duality and infinite dimensions, whatever. But probably the number one doctrine, if we were to lump all of the New Agers together, and the number one doctrine of New Age deception, I think, again, coming out of Hinduism, even though not all Hinduism has always had this view, ironically, or ancient Indian philosophy, is the idea that all is one, or monism, right? And so many years ago, I had to read this whole thing because it's really long and very boring. I read about half of it. It's called Indian Philosophy from Oxford University, and it's a gigantic thing by S. Radhakrishnanan. We'll just call it M. Night Shyamalan. Okay? So M. Night Shyamalan wrote a book called Indian Philosophy. It's like 700 pages, and that's just volume 1, dude. But what I was most interested in was the ancient period. Okay, so I don't really care about the later phases of this. I really was interested in the ancient analysis of the Upanishads, of the Rig Veda, and what is thought to be the most ancient views. And, you know, in the first chapter, he's talking about actus purus, dialectics, and monism. So ancient Hindu philosophy back in the day, I'm talking like 5,000-6,000 years ago, however long ago, we don't even know, right? This is all just guessulations, we might say, speculations. These are guesstimates, okay? But it is interesting that back, 5,000 years ago, they were debating monism, dualism, and the problem of the one and the many. Not joking. So that element is fascinating. I don't pretend to be an expert on ancient Indian thought or philosophy. I find it interesting in some degree, but it's not my main focus. But I did learn a lot from that book. And what I gathered was, that's kind of like the ancient animistic pantheistic view is always pretty much just that we're all one, dude. We're all God, dude. We're all we're all, I started thinking, do I want to be one with everything? No, I don't. Okay. I've seen some nasty bunions on old women. I don't want to be one with my buddy's grandma's bunions. I don't want to be one with Terrence McKenna's bunions. Do you want to be one with Terrence? I'm one with Terrence McKenna's butthole, dude. Oh, yeah. So everybody, when they think about being one, they don't think about all the things you be one with. Right? I'm one with everybody's butthole, dude. Oh, yeah, what? Now, you're going to say I'm getting graphic. I'm making a point, though. You're one with everything? What? I'm one with Jeffrey Dahmer, dude. You want to be one with Jeffrey Dahmer? Jeffrey Badongadonk? No. So first of all, it's dumb just at that dumb level. But to be more specific, to give it a real critique, typically philosophies that adopt the idea that everything is one are based around the idea of Maya, right? That, well, if everything is one, the first question that arises is, well, it seems to me like quite a few things are distinct. Okay, so like I seem to be distinct from this other person, right? And if I'm distinct from another person, then how is it that everything is just one? Well, obviously it's all an illusion, dude. right? Then we get the next step, which is, okay, well, then everything's an illusion. Because in our experience, things are distinct. This thing, not that thing. This book, not that book, right? And so Far Eastern thought, going all the way back to the ancient Upanishad, Rig Veda period or whatever, oh, everything's just one, dude. Okay, well then why do we appear to make distinctions? Oh, that's because you're trapped in the illusion. Okay, no, wait a minute. Now we have an immediate problem here that's both epistemic and metaphysical. So if in order for me to make distinctions, I'm participating in the illusion, isn't me coming to know this truth that all is one also part of the illusion? Well, yeah, because it's part of my phenomenal experience that you've just told me about. Oh, okay, so then it's also an illusion. So all the truths, including the truth that everything is an illusion, is also not true and illusion. Right? And that's self-refuting and stupid. Furthermore, the ability to make distinctions makes language and meaning possible. If I can't distinguish and predicate, then I can't make sentences. Well, then what are all the Hindu books about? Like what this and Eastern philosophy typically they love to adopt that. Oh, well, that's why we adopt contradictions. Okay, well, if you adopt contradictions, then you also do not adopt contradictions. You see how easily this falls apart? It's nonsense, right? I mean, if you accept contradictions, then anything I say is of equal weight and value against your position, and thus no positions can be proven true or false. Therefore, it's self-refuting. But from the geopolitical angle, we can see that, as Huxley himself discusses, right, as the voice of the controlling Atlanticist oligarchy, in the perennial philosophy, he says that we like these monistic philosophies because it contributes to the globalist enterprise of mushing everything into a blob. Duh, is this not obvious? Wouldn't they want to promote a new age blob philosophy if they want to control the big blob? By the way, go watch The Blob, right? And you'll see that. Because that was actually, I mean, even though that's a Cold War movie about communism and collectivism, it's kind of fun if you watch. I like all the versions of The Blob, by the way. The 80s version and the old one. I mean, you can tell that, oh, that's actually kind of true, right? And that's what Huxley says. He says, we're fine with whatever religion promotes monism, that all is one. Not because there isn't a unifying principle in our worldview. In ours, it's God, sure, yeah, right? There's a concrete absolute, you could say. But that doesn't mean that everything is identical to that one or that concrete absolute. Thus, the doctrine of creation. So the first thing, clearly, that sets Orthodox views over against Orthodox Christianity, over against anything New Age, is the distinction between creator and creation. The created and the uncreated. That's our fundamental metaphysic. All the other worldviews that don't believe in creation, the doctrine of creation ex nihilo, that will have some form of emanationism, are typically pantheistic and often monistic. All reality is one. All reality is an extension of God. We're just parts of God, dude. We're all pieces of God, dude. Thus why Orthodox Christianity stresses, well, God has no parts. God doesn't have pieces. Parts and pieces are features of the created order. God does have distinctions, right? Because we're not Unitarians. We don't believe in absolute divine simplicity. God really does possess distinctions. But these are key fundamental metaphysical points that set us off against anything monistic, new agey, pantheistic, right? As well as dualistic too, right? So we're not really focusing on dualism tonight. Sometimes, as we said, the gurus will utilize dualistic ideas and principles, but typically, again, what I constantly see reinforced is monism. Because if you think about it, monism, like, it goes so well with the ethos of the guru, because the guru wants control. And that's what we're going to see in a lot of these people. The guru wants you to not have an identity as an individual apart from the collective. And the collective just means, in this sense, whatever the guru defines it as, right? That's why you get a new name.